everyone, my name is Sekadi Phayane-Shakhane and I am the SAICE CEO. Welcome to our July edition of the SAICE CEO Podcast. And today I'm joined by a powerhouse in the engineering and entrepreneurship space. His name is Shiren Kasipersad from SKI Engineers. He's someone who embodies what it means to not only lead with innovation, but to also build with purpose. Hi Shiren, how are you?
Hi Sekadi, I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Good. So in this episode, we'll be talking really about your journey, which has been very inspirational to me, around entrepreneurship, what you'd have to give, what you'd have to take to achieve what you have achieved, which I think is amazing for somebody who's seen as a young Gulf engineer in our industry. And just to really encourage other younger people who want to take the leap that you have taken, in the entrepreneurship space and follow after your footsteps. So I'm really looking forward to our discussion. Tell me more about you, where you studied, your background, where you come from.
Okay. Yeah, just a bit about myself. I grew up in KZN, in Tangat. I studied at UKZN and KZN. I then started working. I've worked in many towns. And whilst working, I've done my master's at Stellenbosch.
Oh, really? That's stunning. What did you study in?
So civil engineering first, and then my master's was a civil engineering master's, but I specialized in transportation.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. You've obviously led teams where you are currently in your career. You've built an amazing business and you've worked on a lot of critical infrastructure. When you reflect on that journey, what is the biggest thing that you had to give in terms of yourself? And then what are the most surprising things you've gained up until now?
Yeah, so if I look at my career path, I think one of the things initially I had to give up was comfort, the predictability of my structured career, because I've left permanent employment to go on to this venture, and this was 10 years ago. So you give up that stability of having a salary every month and so on. It's emotionally, even socially, it is difficult. So that was one of the gifts. I wish I could say that was the biggest gift, but it wasn't. I used to work from 3 a.m. until 7 p.m. every day. And then I started working 7 days a week, and I did that for 6 years. And you can imagine how detrimental that is to a person to work 7 days a week for 6 years. And in that time, I've lost a lot of time effectively, and what the relevance around that. And one of the things that did happen in that, I think 3 years into it, my dad had passed away. So that's something I will never get that time back. But let's talk about the happy stuff, the takes.
Yes,
please. So one of the biggest takes I found was clarity on my purpose. So I love what I do. We currently now at 43 staff, and we're busy preparing for our 10-year celebration. And with that, I decided to look at how many staff have come through the firm. And in this 10-year period, we had 104 staff that have come through SKI in this 10-year period. So that's something I'm so proud of. And that's my purpose. That's what I love to do, and I'm passionate about doing that. So that's the first part of my journey and the give and take. But let's talk about the give and take principle that I would like everyone to understand. For any deal or transaction to be successful, there has to be a give and take, a fair give and take relationship. So be it, let's say for example, you come to me and you say, Shiren, you have a company and I have a company. You come to me and say, Shiren, let's partner. You got my attention, so I'm going to listen to you. And I'm going to keep quiet, and this will always happen because you got my attention. I'm going to listen to what you're going to say next. And you're going to get awkward if you don't understand the give-take relationship, and you're going to say, let's be 50-50 partners. But so far, what's wrong with that? It's only a take. But let's approach that situation differently. I've got a roads team, you've got an electrical team. You come to me and say, let's partner. I have a roads team, you have an electrical team. See how the deal is now, give and a take. And then similarly for salary increases, you would get staff that walk into your office and they would tell you, I want a salary increase. But what's wrong with that? It's not a give and take relationship. But let's say the person approaches that differently. They approach that, and they give you an example. We've noticed that on a lot of projects we're having a similar issue. So they approach the director or so on, and okay, in all our projects we have the same problem. And it made me wonder, is it just us? So I started looking, and then it's actually all the projects in the province that have the same challenge, or all the projects in the country. And then it made me wonder, let me look at the world. And Argentina has the same issue, America has the same issue. So now you're showing that you're loyal to the firm, you're applying your mind, and you want to champion this, you want to look at this, and then you ask for an increase. Now it's a give and take relationship. But it's not just a tool to use, you got to do the hard work with it. Even later on, I think we're going to discuss mentorship today a little bit. And also that needs to be restructured into a give and take relationship.
I hear a lot of knowledge about business acumen coming from your responses. Maybe give us a little bit of where you got this knowledge from, because it's not something that you just pick up off the street, or did you go and study, or did someone model it for you?
Yeah, so no, how we picked that up was just being observant over the years. And I've spent a lot of my time networking with people who were successful, and that's always a good thing to do. And then you pick up, you watch what they do. You don't take it on full value that what they're doing is correct. You also apply your mind to it. So that's how I developed that business hack.
I love that. I really love that. And then obviously, like, SKI has seen tremendous growth in the last 10 years. As you said, you've seen about 104 people coming through your doors and mentoring people and ensuring that, you know, you provide to the skills pipeline in the country, which we desperately need. How do you balance this growth with accountability, just generally in your environment, to your staff, to your clients, to the community?
Yeah, so one of the first things with entrepreneurship is you don't grow because you want to grow, or because it's a dream to grow. You want 10 offices, or you want a lot of equipment and a lot of stuff. As an entrepreneur, at the beginning, your capital is low, so your money is low, your risk is high. So you grow when you need to grow, and you grow responsibly. So as a young entrepreneur, you're going to get to a point where you're going to start employing staff. And I got some advice on that. If you're employing staff and you interview staff, especially at the beginning, your risk profile is high, your experience level is low. If you have persons that you're interviewing and you have someone that's unemployed or has left the industry for a period of time, but they're unemployed and they want to get back, opt to employ those persons, especially at the beginning. So you're being responsible about what you're doing, because there's a chance that your business could not succeed in the next 3 months of the year. So you're being responsible. You're not employing people and taking them away from permanent employment to join you on your risky venture. So that's one way to be responsible when you're doing employment. Being responsible to your clients, so to the persons you approach for work. Approach persons where you can offer that give and take principle, where you can add value to what's happening. So you're responsible in that light. To our staff, we've had a lot of staff through the firm. We offer training and mentorship, and that's our responsibility with the staff. We've seen a lot of engineers get registered with ICSA. We push our engineers. I push them to go to Stellenbosch University to do their masters down there.
Okay.
Yeah, but so there is responsibility in
Yes.
that. And what I would like to think is that SKI, we give the staff a lot of fair opportunity. So anyone can come if you're just dedicated and you're hardworking, you get good opportunities, but you got to drive that.
I love that. I really love that. We obviously in Africa, we've got a very young population. We're seeing a lot of graduates actually even coming through our system, our SAICE system, who are unemployed, who need a lot of mentorship and guidance. And it's something that we always speak about, but it doesn't seem like we have a lot of urgency towards it. What has mentorship looked like for you? How does mentorship look like for SKI?
Yeah, so at SKI, I'll start with that quickly. So we have a commitment undertaking with ICSA, and then we have a mentorship plan. So every staff member gets a mentorship plan, and the onus is on them to complete the mentorship plan. And you know what, I'll be honest, we're not seeing a lot of mentorship plans coming back to head office, and that's the first challenge. And when it comes to mentorship, I mean, we got two parties at mentorship. We have the youngsters, and the youngsters are graduates. Lots of energy, lots of time, skill level. Remember, studying only gets you through the front door.
Yes.
Once you get through the front door, you got to start studying, you got to start learning again. And we don't see a lot of the youth understanding that. So they come in and they don't understand that they're going to have to start from the bottom up again. And on the other side, we have the mentors. And the mentors are people who are good because they're good, they're busy, and because they're good, they're your mentor. But because they're so good, they're busy with work. They have a lot of work, means they have a lot of responsibility, means they have a lot of stress and don't have a lot of time. So now we got the two parties, and there's sort of a stalemate between them, if you notice in the industry. And the mentors don't speak about it because it's a sensitive issue on it. But today I'm going to try to speak about it a little bit, and I'll be diplomatic about it. So if we apply the give and take principle on mentorship, and this is one of the things I've done for my mentorship, and I think I've got really good mentorship over the years. What can you as a youngster offer as a give? Because we know what you want as a take. You want the skill level and the training. But how can you give to get that from your mentor? And one of the things I did, and it's simple things. I would notice that my mentor drinks coffee every day at 11 o'clock in the morning. So I would go to him and I would say, listen, I notice you drink coffee every day at 11. Or I would start, I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee. Can I please make you a coffee? And they will most likely agree. And they will tell you it's 1 coffee, 2 sugars and milk. So you go and you do it and you bring it back. And you might not realize it, but you've just now created conversation and dialogue with your mentor. You've assisted them with time and you followed out your first instruction. 1 coffee, 2 sugars and milk. Mess it up and the mentor's never going to trust you. So you start developing that relationship. I know a lot of the youth, and just to be open-minded about what I'm saying, might think, I didn't study 4 years to make someone coffee. But understand what's happening here. It's a give and a take, right? So you created this dialogue. Every day you're approaching your mentor at 11 o'clock in the day. Then you get to your mentor's office with a coffee a few days later and you notice they're stapling papers, meeting minutes. And then you can offer to assist to that. But then you do it how the mentor wants you to, how the mentor is doing it. You don't do it how you want to do it. Because you're also showing that, listen, I can help you, but I will help you and I will learn from you. I'm not teaching you. Because that's the other thing we have, is where the youngsters will staple the minutes how they feel they want it, in the order that they want it. But there's a reason why it's in the order the mentor wants it. So now you're creating this dialogue and this level of trust. So then we go on further, and maybe the next time the mentor says, last time you helped me with this minutes to staple it. This time maybe you can help me print it as well. So you're creating that dialogue and that interaction. I know on one of the cases I saw my mentor's car was very dirty. And I parked next to him at the site office and it was very, very dirty. And I knew he's struggling for time. I could see the guy had a lot of stress and I couldn't help him. I couldn't approach him and say, listen, give me X, Y, and Z into it. I was too young. I didn't have the skill set to do it. So I approached him and said, listen, I've seen your car is very dirty. And the same with the coffee, because I get to his office with the coffee. And can I take it for a wash for you? And he agreed. Now he suddenly trusts me with his car. So you see how I'm building levels of trust with my mentor. So, because he's got a lot of responsibility, and civil engineering projects is a high level of risk, and you need to take responsibility, but I'm building trust with my mentor. So now I've taken his car and I've washed his car. So now same with the coffee. Coffee gives me a reason to get to his office every day at 11 o'clock in the morning. So I'm there with the coffee. And then he tells me, listen, next week I'm not going to be here. And I said, okay, so why? Why aren't you going to be here? So I got to go and do, you want that meeting minutes you helped me with? The client wants me to go and do a visual inspection. And then I would say, okay, you know what? I'd really like to come along. And I would drive you, I wouldn't interfere with you, and I'll help you take notes and do measurements. And I don't need fancy accommodation or fancy meals. Please, can I join? And your mentor will most likely take you up. And now suddenly you're doing a visual inspection with your mentor. And now you're learning in the car as you talk, you're doing the work as you're writing notes. Come back to the office. The mentor needs someone to capture all the data. He's going to ask you. So you see how mentorship give and take, but it starts so small. You need to build that level of trust with your mentor. You cannot come in as a graduate and ask your mentor. If your mentor is sitting with 5 projects, you, as much as we like to think that we can, you cannot go and say, give me one of your projects, I'll run it. You cannot. And that's where we're sitting with this development. Build that trust with your mentor. Be smart about it, be strategic about it, but be genuine about it. Mentorship benefits both parties once we break that initial step. If your mentor can trust you and rely on you, he will give you more work and he'll continue, and he can perform more projects because he has that support with you.
I love that. It's such a different take, like you said, really around servant leadership, around also, I know like in TikTok they always say, what do you bring to the table? And it's really about that.
And that's what it is, eh?
And sometimes like younger people, they think they don't have much to bring to the table, but they actually do, you know? I love that, Shiren. That is like really groundbreaking. So how have you then built this culture of mentorship within SKI as a strategic tool for your staff members?
Yeah, so, like I said, mentorship is a sensitive topic, and that's why mentors don't speak about it a lot. Because if you hear your mentor saying a coffee, it sounds demeaning. But that's why the effort the start effort should come from the outset. At SKI, what we're doing with the mentorships is, and I am a little bit disappointed with our youngsters, because I would give them mentorship plans and I would be the one following up. And I would ask them, where's the mentorship plan? Where's the mentorship plan? And it's such a simple mentorship plan. It's 11 pages. Each page is each of the X outcomes. So I'll then sit and run through how you fill it, and it just doesn't come back. We have a few staff who listen, who do really well, and they sit here in the office. They're doing really well. So we try to push that. We try to have events where we take our staff to the. So we try to motivate them, but we need a cultural change.
We do.
We need a cultural
And like when you were just saying that, I think about all the other things that we do at SAICE, like for, we had like a women leadership program, for instance, last year. And halfway through, one had to be constantly reminding the ladies, listen, this is your program, can you please attend, for your benefit, for your career. And I feel like perhaps maybe we don't talk about that giving and the taking enough. We don't allow people to take responsibility because we do a lot of things for free, for instance.
Yeah.
And a lot of things are freely available, except for those values that actually make an engineer.
So that's why I think the whole thing needs to slow down. The government puts out enough initiatives, SAICE puts out a lot of initiatives, companies, we put out a lot of initiatives, but we need the ground level. We need those people, the staff wanting mentorship and the mentors, we need to get them to actually start talking. Like in your case with that, had you had to buy in, had they had to ask you, can we have this empowerment program, they would be part of it.
Exactly.
But now when we give it to them, it's just there and it's optional. So that's why I say it's a sensitive issue, but it's a mindset, really a mindset change that needs to happen with these things. And South Africa operates different from the rest of the world in that we have a lot of initiatives and a lot of incentives, and people just got to go back to basics and understand that these are nice to have and appreciate them.
So you obviously have been in this business for 10 years, have gathered business acumen through a lot of observation, perception, intuition. And you have seen a future vision for the industry, for SKI, and an inclusive engineering industry as well. What does this vision look like?
Yeah, so I'll share with you. So I envisage and always picture this beautiful boardroom, but a boardroom with everyone in the boardroom. It's different races, different ages, and different genders. And whilst we're trying to get to that point, we're not at that point yet. And we do the mentorship, which I mentioned, and we can see that all the people don't start on the same footing. So we're still working on it. And we at SKI pay a lot of attention to that. We try to get everyone at the same level, and then we start building. But the vision I see for the industry is just to be the best of the best. And as a country, we need to start not competing against each other in the country as the different fractions in the country, but we should rather target the world. And my vision is to have a country with the greatest engineers that can aim at being the best engineers in the world, because we can be there.
I think we are. Otherwise our engineers wouldn't be so well sought after. And for the last 10, 15, 20 years, we've actually been exporting all our engineering skill, and having to start rebuilding over and over again.
No, so I agree with you 100% on that. But as a country, we don't see it and we don't appreciate it. It's only when we lose an individual and we lose another individual. I think as a country, we need to stand united and appreciate the greatness.
Yeah, that is so true. Tell me a little bit more about your project. How you bring in, I think I've seen how you bring in digital technology in your projects. Maybe you can give us, one of the projects that you're doing currently.
Yeah, so we have quite a few projects. Civil engineering, it's kind of old school because of the risk involved with the project. So we don't have a lot of crazy innovation on our projects. One of the projects we use Chrome Slag, which we liked, and we're looking at other methods. Bitumen sourcing has become a challenge in our industry, so we're looking at other alternatives towards that. And it might sound crazy to roads engineers, but we can get away from bitumen. I think we got to be in a really good space.
So what will we have if we don't have bitumen?
Yeah, that's proprietary information.
Oh, okay. I thought you would educate us traffic engineers on these things. So how has the advancement of AI and digital technologies impacted on your business? How do you bring that into your day-to-day?
So it's in a very good space at the moment. It's used responsibly. AI is really good, and we got to be careful of that thing, especially the youth need to be careful of that. It's nice to want to impress your seniors, but make sure you understand what the AI is giving and what it's dishing out. At the company, we are using AI. We're looking at developing a portal for the company, so everything can be off the portal. So we'll have our own portal, which AI will assist. And that will take away mundane activities, so like staff submitting the kilometers every month. That all gets processed through AI and they get it out. We're implementing it, but gradually.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's always a risk profile and you build trust. So we're doing it on the lighter things, like the kilometers, and then gradually later on we'll implement it on projects which are extremely high risk. So you got to build that level of trust.
In terms of like institutions like SAICE, what do you believe are the partnerships or actions that we need to strengthen entrepreneurship and bringing in younger people basically into the economy?
Yeah, so I think, just you being here is what SAICE is doing about it. And I think SAICE is doing a lot about it. And what we actually need to see is a mindset change. The youth need to want it and not just be given that. We see now with client bodies, they have a lot of initiatives and incentives. But when it comes to client bodies, I think what we would like to see is real money. So they allocate money as provisional sums for development of staff. But you'll see an allocation of, I'm going to use the example of 100 Rand.
Yeah.
But the real money on that 100 Rand is 3 Rand. So, with these allocations and incentives for the government, they need to actually have real money, actual money for those incentives to be active on that. Gatekeeping has become a challenge. So I'm quite disappointed because we have a lot of projects where there is money to develop the stuff, but when we attempt to access it, there's so much of gatekeeping, you don't get the money, so it defeats the purpose of the whole exercise.
What do you mean by gatekeeping? Is the money specifically assigned to specific persons?
Yeah, so let's say we have a project, there's a provisional sum money for development of an assistant contracts engineer. So you see the money is there. Now you want to access that money, but then there's so much limitations with the gatekeeping from that money, it makes it almost impossible, and that's where you end up with the 3 Rand out of 100. So those things need to change. So whilst the entity might have the vision for all of this training and development on the ground, we don't see that. So some of that gatekeeping needs to be relaxed so that we can actually do it. I, as an employee, if you tell me you're going to give me to cover my salaries for me to train individuals, but you actually give me the money, you don't just say it, I will train the individuals. I will happily do it because I'm getting more resources. I will pay to send them on international conferences or local conferences. There's a benefit to it.
Yeah.
So the systems are there, it's just not functioning how it's meant to.
I like that, and we will definitely take it up in our discussions with various entities around mentorship and the likes. So we've nearly come to the end of our podcast. When you look at yourself, you still have a long way to go. What is the one legacy that you want to leave behind and you want to be remembered for?
That's an interesting question. So there's a few things I want to leave behind. One is our projects. I want our projects to just last and be good. People to remember that was a ski project, and we have some of these projects already. The other is I want the staff and the culture, because I want the firm to live way beyond home. And I want the culture to be at the firm is that we bring all the staff, we get them at a decent, comfortable space. We put a lot of effort in that. If you walk through our offices, you'll see that we try to create comfortable space for all the staff. I would like them to appreciate the amount of challenges I face, because I really have to fight for them to get fair opportunities outside of the firm, which I do. And I want them to continue to do that for future generations as we go along. I want my daughter, I have a 3-year-old daughter, I want her to, and many of the youth, to inherit a country that feels happy and united because people like myself chose to stay and build.
Wow, Shiren, thank you so much for sharing so openly and honestly today, and just from the heart. I'm quite happy that I could sit here within your wisdom and listen to it, and also take away nuggets on leadership, on entrepreneurship, and to also grow as a leader. Your journey really reminds us that entrepreneurship isn't just about growth, as you said. It's about responsibility. It's about what you are going to give and what you can take from it. And that when mentorship is done right, it can be a national asset the way that you are. And at SAICE, we remain committed to nurturing this leadership. We remain committed to nurturing our youth, driving innovation, and supporting the professionals who are shaping this country's future. And as you said, to ensure that the next generation inherits a country that we can all be proud of. So thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Sekadi, so much. And thank you for all your efforts to SAICE. It's well appreciated.
And thank you.